The following is an 18PR production. From deep in the heart of West Texas.
And everybody knows Studio A or Ground Zero is at 18PR, and everyone knows 18PR is out yonder.
It's a one-of-a-kind, worldwide transmission. Heroes and Heroines File. The Free-Range Talent File. The Unexplained Files. The Ain't Love Grand File. Michael Shawn's Campfire.
And the Free-Range Texan News Network.
A clear and present detour on the road of everyday life.
You're listening to the Free Range Texan podcast.
With our host, who's been voted the hardest working man in podcasting, Michael Shawn.
Episode 22 of our Free Range Texan podcast. Man, it's great to have you on board. We're about to get underway with Stan Troy in our Free Range Talent File. Stan's been on the show before. He's the guy that we had on last year with Panhandle Hell, the song about the range fires that burned here in Texas for a time. And Stan's back on the show with one he's written called Holy Ground, only this time he's got a video he's bringing with him. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, how do we watch the video? Well, we got you covered. You'll just have to tune in. Hear me now. Believe me later. You're going to like what we do. Also, we've got coming up on the show a story about the gun that wasn't there. Turned out to be almost a tragic incident for a West Texas sheriff, but it's a true story. The gun that wasn't there, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later in today's podcast. And let me go down the list here. Hey, would you look at this stuff? Foxy the Wonder Dog on duty. Yeah, check. The gun that wasn't there. Yeah, check. Stan Troy's going to be on the show. Oh, by the way, get your snapshots in. You send those to info@freerangetexan.net. You want to know more about that, go and take a look at what we're doing with that on our Free Range Texan Facebook page and, of course, on our Free Range Texan blog as well. The old farmers and ranchers will be chiming in before this show is over, and we got a lot of other great stuff. So buckle up, saddle up, let's get ready to ride. Better than a double meat jalapeno cheeseburger. Oh, yeah, right, Foxy. With onion rings. You're listening to the Free Range Texan podcast. This story is inspired by Russell Smith as well as Chris Bird. It's about a Mexican burglar who lived in caves and broke into homes and businesses in West Texas in the middle 1960s. Alfredo Hernandez, the cave bandit, shot the postmaster during a nighttime robbery at Pumpville in 1965. The bandit forced the postmaster's wife at gunpoint to give him the money that was on hand and then drove off in their car. In 1965, the sheriff of Terrell County was Bill Cooksey. He was a guy who really knew how to use a pistol. Cooksey had been informed by a teenager, Benny Ray Ross, about a Mexican named Gallegos who knew there was a criminal staying in a cave nearby. This day, Sheriff Cooksey had a .38 caliber on his belt, and Benny Ray Ross was in possession of a .30-30 rifle. Leaving their pickup some distance away, Cooksey, Ross, and Gallegos approached the cave on foot. Gallegos called in Spanish to the occupant to come on out. Hernandez wriggled out of the cave. Gallegos explained to him that Cooksey was the sheriff and that he would have to go with him. They'd gone no more than 20 yards when Hernandez spun around with a gun in his hand. He'd seen Cooksey reach for the gun that wasn't there, where he normally holstered his pistol. The burglar fired twice, hitting Cooksey in the leg. Actually, the small semi-auto pistol was in Cooksey's waistband. That was unusual. Under stress, with someone shooting at him, he tried to do what he had practiced, but his usual gun was not in its usual place. Anyone who carries a gun needs to remember this lesson. After Cooksey recovered from his ordeal, he repeatedly told people in law enforcement police officers should be both morally and ethically a cut above the norm, but beyond that, they should treat people as they would want to be treated. And officers should wear their off-duty gun where they carry their duty weapon, or otherwise, they may reach for it someday and it might not be there. Let me just tell you that the cave bandit was captured and taken to justice. Sheriff Bill Cooksey has passed away now, but I am told that he died of old age. His wisdom, however, is not forgotten. We, as civilian gun owners, should adapt Sheriff Cooksey's words of wisdom to our own situations. Simply put, the lesson in this story is always carry a gun where you legally can, and as a rule, always carry it in the same place. Searching for it could cost you your life. But another good story, and that one was gospel truth. Just life out here on the Texas South Plains.
Hello, this is Michael Shawn. You know, the world of advertising and public relations has changed immensely over the last few years. Today's business owners, corporate executives, corporate trainers, from the mom and pops to the top Fortune 500 companies, have a whole new set of needs. At 18PR, we specialize in many of those needs. You need what you need, and you want what you want, and you need it in a timely fashion. The people at 18PR have been on this roller coaster ride for over 3 decades and are figuring some things out. But it wasn't until the last couple of years that we rebuilt our playbook, bringing on board vital and new assistance in our creative services. And that's where you come in and win. From our clean, clear digital recording studio to our team of strategic media planners, 18PR's goal is to listen and help you find what you need in today's complex multimedia marketplace. Perhaps you could benefit from a fresh new face. Developing radio, television, print, oh sure. But the on-ramps to today's information highway can be a whole nother challenge. From social media to podcasting, let us help. You can find out about 18PR at a-teampr.com. And additionally, there's a link on the freerangetexan.net website because 18PR produces this program as well. So think about it and then make a move. And maybe you could hire the A-Team.
It's time now for another segment of Free Range Talent, brought to you by 18PR, bringing a host of creative media production and public relations services to our exclusive list of clients. Maybe you could hire the A-Team. And now, here's the next segment of Free Range Talent.
On our Free Range Texan talent file,
we've got folks that we always invite back. And some of you folks will remember Stan Troy, who a number of months ago was on our podcast with a song that he had done about the fires, the raging wildfires in West Texas. And the name of the song was Panhandle Hell. Stan Troy, welcome back to the Free Range Texan podcast.
Thank you, Michael. It's good to be back with you.
I'm going to brag on you for just a moment because this is kind of a big deal to us. We've got a thing called analytics that, unlike radio broadcasting or so on and so forth, podcasting, since it is internet web-based, we can actually know how many people download a specific program and approximately when and where they do that. Now, I'm careful when I say that because I don't want people to think we come peek through your bedroom window, but we can electronically see how many folks are listening to any specific podcast that we have up. And to date, Stan, the highest listened to Free Range Texan podcast that we have produced since day one is one entitled Panhandle Hell, where we feature Stan Troy and his music. So congratulations.
Thanks, Mike. That's cool.
We got to a point recently where we thought we want to have some of the people back that we've had on our podcast. And our understanding is that you've got a new video that you guys have just put together. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, thanks. Yeah, Mike, this video was just finished last week. Eddie Cantu, who did percussion on my album, Eddie Cantu told me that he was also a videographer. And so we were talking about this song, Holy Ground, and wrote that song about this place where Vicki and I live. And Eddie said, well, I do video. So, a year ago I was thinking about this, and in January, late January, early February, we actually got started on it. So it's good to bring something to fruition.
Holy Ground, of course, is on your Deluxe Cafe album that you released last year. And it's a great song, great tune, but you begin to really understand what the song is about. I'm going to go ahead and spill the beans. I know where you were walking around, and the shots that were taken are mostly all on a place called the Victor Stoll Ranch, which is where you and your wife Vicki live. And it was Vicki's dad that had this remarkable place in the Texas Hill Country. That's where you live every day. I mean, a lot of singers go out and shoot videos in exotic or beautiful places for the purpose of their video. You really live the life that we see in this video.
Well, yeah, we're out here living. It's not convenient to anything or anywhere. And some people might not call it living. For instance, when your internet streaming service is not much more than a drip or a drop at a time. And I'm sitting by the south window so I can talk to you on the telephone. But there are other things that are gained when you're not convenient to the rest of the world. And so we enjoy the solitude. We enjoy the land for what it is. And that's why we're out here.
Oh, so you're telling me you don't get a chance to go out and eat much?
No, we have to already be in town. We don't decide, let's go out and grab something to eat. No, that doesn't happen.
What was the inspiration for Holy Ground?
Well, I don't know exactly, where it originates, but I've been enjoying this piece of the earth for 35 years, I suppose. I met Vicki's family before I met her, and it was her brother Chris Stahl, who brought me out here. And I enjoyed the place from the get-go. And Chris would show me around, kind of like me showing y'all around in this video. He would show me around, and I thought, this place is just beautiful. It's unique. And so I began getting acquainted with the place maybe 35 years ago.
For decades, you've had an appreciation for the fact that the place like that even exists. Do you feel that most people who live in town or in amongst them, so to speak, are they going to understand what that song, Holy Ground, is about?
I believe so. If a person has any appreciation for this planet that we live on, if you go to the national parks or you go to the state parks or you go to the beach and you enjoy the surf and the sand and the sunset, if you're a bicycle rider and you enjoy getting out away from the city and enjoy a 2-lane road, if you're somebody who likes to get horseback and get out on a trail or go and gather cattle, if you enjoy the outdoors at all, I think you'll enjoy, maybe have some appreciation for the song and for the video.
As you were saying everything that you just said, it occurred to me that once in a while we get to talk to the embodiment of what we think of when we think of the concept of the free-range Texan. And you, Stan Troy, are absolutely a free-range Texan. I can tell that you get it. What are your future plans? What do you have coming up that you may want to mention?
Well, first of all, I have to get the chainsaw sharp and start working on this fence line along this road that we come in on. Nature starts taking over pretty quickly, and this road was built, more than 10 years ago, coming into the place, this new road that we use. I'm working on another note, I'm working on a couple of songs. I'm hoping to get to some people, and so I'm going to be going back into a studio pretty soon to work on those songs a little bit.
I got to tell you, there are a couple of us sitting here in the studio right now, and both of us just have belly laughs going on right now. You ask a singer-songwriter, someone who is involved in one way or another in the music industry, so what do you got coming up? And you ask that to Stan Troy, and his first response is, well, I'm going to go out yonder and fix that fence along that road over there. And that is a truly serene gentleman, because normally a singer-songwriter say, well, we're going to be here, we're going to be there, we're going to be playing over at so-so, and we're going to be opening up for a new casino over here, and one thing and another. But you definitely are a product of where you're living, and that is refreshing. And I'm glad that you did mention that you've got some new stuff in the works, though, that you're looking at laying down some more tracks. And we urge you to share your music and those things that are in your heart with the rest of us anytime you can. We love having you here.
Thank you. That'll be great.
We want to remind everybody that they can go to freerangetexan.net, and there is information there that I'm going to get you to repeat, Stan. You can buy the Deluxe Cafe album that Stan's got out, and also we're going to be loading Stan's new music video that shows Stan around the ranch singing a song, Holy Ground. That is all going to be on the blog at freerangetexan.net. And Stan, tell us again one more time for people who want to be able to perhaps purchase your Deluxe Cafe albums. Got some great tunes on it. Where would they, including Panhandle Hell, but where would they go and possibly get a download for that?
Yeah, sure. The download can be found on CD Baby, also iTunes, Amazon.
All right. And if any of you folks want to see that information, again, that too is listed on the blog, where we are in the process of putting up a new article on Stan and bringing you up to date a little bit there. Stan, thank you for being on our podcast, brother. We appreciate you being here, man.
Thank y'all for having me, Michael.
And now here it is, Stan Troy and Holy Ground.
We used to haunt the woods and never hear a voice. Now you stand beneath the stars, can't escape the noise. You're looking for a place that can't be found. Just one spot of holy ground. The valleys and the hills underneath the blue, they're disappearing fast, ain't nothing we can do. Another house, another mall, city lights and sounds, eating up one more piece of holy ground. Holy ground, spirit of the earth, lay me down one bright and sunny day. I'll be coming back every 1,000 years just to hang around. I'm gonna haunt this little piece of holy ground. You can tell me where it's at, and I'll be there today. Fences long forgotten, crowds all gone away. Prairie grass where once there was a town, and nothing there to see, just holy ground. Holy ground, spirit of the earth, lay me down one bright and sunny day. I'll be coming back every 1,000 years just to hang around. I'm gonna haunt this little piece of holy ground. Holy ground, spirit of the earth, lay me down one bright and sunny day. I'll be coming back every 1,000 years just to hang around. I'm gonna haunt this little piece of holy ground. I'm gonna haunt this little piece of holy ground. Holy ground.
You've been listening to the Free Range Talent File. If you'd like more information about our guests, just go to our website at freerangetexan.net. Also, submissions to be interviewed on our program can also be submitted on freerangetexan.net. Well, once upon a time, way back in 2018, A-Team PR decided to build the first free-range Texan podcast.
Right, well, bring the show band in and put them right back over there. It's a mariachi band. Okay, well, fine. What do you mean Selig didn't return our call? A campfire at the beginning of the program? No. Move the campfire to the end of the show.
Well, now just look at what's happened. The Heroes and Heroines File. The Unexplained Files. The Free Range Talent File. The Travelin' Texas File. The Ain't Love Grand File. Our Free Range Texan website. The Free Range Texan House of Treasures. The Free Range Texan blog. The Free Range Texan listener posse. The Free Range Texan YouTube channel. Free Range Texan Facebook page. And now, the Free Range Texan News Network. And the place to find it all is at freerangetexan.net. So saddle up, my friends. We're riding in the place where it all started, the Free Range Texan Podcast. Hit 'em up, move 'em out. Well, howdy, y'all. This is Michael Shawn. Welcome to the Campfire. Well, amigos, no good lonely desert campfire is worth its salt unless there's a good ghost story or two, particularly if the story is true. You know, it never fails from time to time when I travel around the country, I'm often asked about Enchanted Rock. It's a pink granite dome that is one of the oldest exposed rocks in the world. The rock covers 640 acres in southwestern Llano County, about 20 miles north of Fredericksburg, Texas, and towers more than 400 feet above the surrounding area. It's second in size to Stone Mountain in Georgia. Its name, Enchanted Rock, is attributed to the Indians' supposed belief that it's haunted. The tales told down through the generations are that the Indians saw ghostly campfires flickering near its summit and often heard the mountain groan. Comanches in the area always regarded the rock with fear and reverence. The Apaches said it was inhabited by mountain spirits. All of this turned out to be handy for 19th century early Texas settlers who took refuge there at the rock while raiding war parties roamed nearby. Today, scientists theorize that Indian legends probably arose from the way the rock glitters in clear nights and from creaking and groaning noises that are heard when cool nights are following warm days. Not far from Enchanted Rock, still in Llano County, is a place where ghostly lights are said to appear. Locals call it the 6 Mile Light. Popular theory is that it's most likely another manifestation of the unusual energies that converge near Marfa. Coincidentally, the Marfa lights occur at the same exact latitude. Enchanted Rock was designated a National Natural Landmark in 1970. The average weekly attendance has more than doubled since that time. And on any given weekend, would-be visitors are turned away when the park has reached its capacity. Clearly, the pink granite mountain that rises majestically into the geographical heart of Texas and that has always been a legendary sacred place to ancient Indian tribes and Texas settlers occupies a place in the hearts of the state's modern inhabitants as well. Recently, I visited Enchanted Rock for the second time. And I'll just tell you, partners, it seems to me that it's well named. And honestly, there are a lot more stories about this special place than we have time to go into on our Campfire program today. So, I have a feeling we'll be returning to Enchanted Rock. I'm Michael Shawn. See you next time at the Campfire. Adios, my friends. Hey, first of all, we want to give a big, warm thank you to my old friend and remarkable talent, Stan Troy. We're glad to have him on the podcast. And his new video and his music, all of that can be seen at freerangetexan.net. And the music is available now at our Free Range Texan House of Treasures at freerangetexan.net.
This episode of Free Range Texan Podcast is brought to you by A-Team PR. Thinking about creating your own podcast? Let the crew at A-Team PR help. A-Team PR is a proud sponsor and producer of the Free Range Texan Podcast. For more information, go to freerangetexan.net. That's freerangetexan.net.
Well, if you haven't sent your snapshots in, you ought to get on that. Join the listener posse. We have such a great time. People from all over the country and around the world sending us their snapshots and give us your name and where you're from. And we get you up on the blog there. We get you up on the Free Range Texan Facebook page in the listener posse. And we have great fun. Foxy the Wonder Dog, again on duty throughout this podcast. Foxy, go get in the pickup. And remember what the old farmers and ranchers say around the West Texas area. They say a bumblebee is considerably faster than a John Deere tractor. Also, they say life is simpler if you'll just plow around the stump. We'll see you next time on the Free Range Texan Podcast. Take 'em home, sweetie pie.
Thank y'all for listening to the Free Range Texan Podcast, produced at A-Team PR Studios out yonder in West Texas, with our host who's been voted the hardest working man in podcasting, Michael Shawn. Feedback or submissions to our program can be submitted on our website, freerangetexan.net. That's freerangetexan.net. This is Sweetie Pie on behalf of Michael, Shawn, and the crew here in Studio A, where we're all looking forward to spending time with you on our next bi-weekly episode of the Free Range Texan Podcast. Y'all come back now. You hear?
Tower, this is Free Range Texan Airways, Podcast 1, ready for takeoff.
Podcast 1, you're cleared for takeoff.
Nose up. Check wheels up.
Wheels up.
Reduce flaps. Mr. Sanders, take us to 10,000 feet. Bring us around to a course of south by southwest.
10,000 feet, south by southwest. Aye, Captain.
Engage autopilot.